Chapter 10, India in the 18th Century. Terms to learn. Revenue farmers. The farmers who were sold the right to collect tax by the state and they agreed to pay the state a fixed amount. Jagat Seths. The bankers in Bengal. They were very prosperous and had close connection with the state. Missiles. The 12 groups in which the Sikhs were divided. Each group had its own leader. Deshmukhs, the powerful warrior families with whose support Shivaji carved out a stable Maratha kingdom. Peshwas, Shivaji's successor who ruled Maratha kingdom after Shivaji's death. They belonged to a family of Chitpavan Brahmins. Sadeshmukhi, 9 to 10% of land revenue paid to the head revenue collector in the Deccan. The political conditions in 18th century India changed quite dramatically. The new political groups emerged in the subcontinent during the first half of the 18th century, roughly from 1707 when Aurangzeb died till the Third Battle of Panipat in 1761. Decline of the Mughal Empire and the later Mughals. The Mughal Empire had started showing signs of decline after the death of Aurangzeb in 1707. There were a number of factors responsible for the decline of Mughal Empire. Aurangzeb had depleted the military and financial resources of the empire by fighting a long war in the Deccan. Under his successors, the efficiency of the imperial administration broke down. It became increasingly difficult for the later Mughal emperors to keep a check on their mansabdars. The noble appointed as governors, subedars, often controlled the offices of revenue and military administration, Diwani and Faujdari as well. This gave them extraordinary political, economical and military power over vast region of Mughal Empire. As the governors consolidated their control over the provinces, the periodic remission of revenue to the central government declined. Peasants and zamindars rebelled in many parts of northern and western India. These revolts were sometimes caused by the pressure of increasing taxes and sometimes the powerful chieftains revolted to consolidate their own position. The Mughal emperors after Aurangzeb were generally weak and inefficient rulers. They were unable to check the gradual shifting of political and economic authority in the hands of provincial governors, local chieftains and other groups. In the midst of this economic and political crisis, the ruler of Iran, Nadir Shah, sacked and plundered the city of Delhi in 1739 and took away immense amounts of wealth. This invasion was followed by a series of plundering raids by the Afghan ruler Ahmad Shah Abdali, who invaded North India 5 times between 1748 and 1761. One of the contemporary observer has described the wealth looted by Nadir Shah in the following words. 60 lakh of rupees and some thousand gold coins, nearly 1 crore worth of gold ware, nearly 50 crore worth of jewels, most of them unrivaled in the world, and the above included the peacock throne. The empire was further weakened by competition and rivalry among different types of nobles. They were divided into two major groups, the Iranis and the Turanis, nobles of Turkish descent. For a long time, the later Mughal emperors were puppets in the hand of either one or the other these two powerful groups. The two Mughal emperors, Farrukh Shiar 1713 to 1719 and Alamgiri II 1754 to 1759 were assassinated and two other Ahmad Shah 1748 to 54 and Shah Alam II 1759 to 1860 were blinded by their nobles. Emergency of new states. As the authority of the Mughal emperors declined, the Mughal Empire gradually fragmented into a number of independent regional states. These states can be divided into three overlapping groups. First, states that were old Mughal provinces such as Awadh, Bengal and Hyderabad. They became quite independent and powerful, but they did not break their formal ties with the Mughal emperor. Second, states that have enjoyed considerable independence under the Mughals as Watan Jagirs. These included several Rajput principalities. Third, states under the control of Marathas, Sikhs and Jats. They had seized their independence from the Mughal after a long drawn armed struggle. The old Mughal province. Awadh, Burhal-ul-Mulk Saadat Khan was appointed Subedar of Awadh in 1722 by the Mughal Emperor Muhammad Shah. Burhal-ul-Mulk also held the combined offices of Subedari, Diwani and Faujdari, so he was responsible for the managing the political, financial and military affairs of the provinces of Awadh. Burhal-ul-Mulk Saadat Khan tried to decrease the Mughal influence by reducing the number of Jagidars appointed by the Mughals. He also reduced the size of Jagirs and appointed his own loyal servants in vacant seats. The count of Jagidars were checked and the revenue of all districts were reassured by officials appointed by him. He seized the number of Rajput Jamindars and the fertile land of the Afghan in Rohilkhand. He sold the right to collect tax to the highest bidders. These revenue farmers, Ijardars, agreed to pay the state a fixed sum of money. The revenue farmers were given considerable freedom in the assessment and collection to taxes. Awadh thus became more or less independent under Saadat Khan. After his death, Safdar Jung succeeded him. He was also appointed as Wazir of Mughal Empire. He played an important role in the politics of the country. He is succeeded by his son Suja-ud-Dawla. Bengal. Bengal gradually broke away from the Mughal control under Murshid Quli Khan, who was appointed as the Naib deputy to the governor of the provinces. Although never a formal Subedar, Murshid Quli Khan quickly seized all the powers that went with that office. He commanded the revenue administration of the province. In order to reduce Mughal influence in Bengal, he transferred all Mughal Jagidars to Orissa and ordered a major reassessment of the revenues of Bengal. Revenue was collected in cash with great strictness from all zamindars. As a result, many zamindars had to borrow money from bankers and money lenders. Under the rule of Alivardi Khan 1740 to 1756, the banking house of Jagat Seth became very prosperous and the connection between the state and the bankers were clearly noticeable. Hyderabad. Nizamul Mulk Asaf Jah, the founder of Hyderabad state 1724 to 1748, was one of the most powerful members at the court of the Mughal Emperor Farooq Siyar. He was entrusted first with the governorship of Awadh and later given charge of the Deccan. As the Mughal governor of the Deccan provinces during 1720 to 22, Asaf Jah had already gained control over its political and financial administration and he became the actual ruler of that region. Asaf Jah appointed Mansabdars and granted Jagirs. Although he was still a servant of the Mughal emperor, he ruled quite independently. The Watan Jagirs of the Rajput. Many Rajput kings, particularly those belonging to Amber and Jodhpur, had served under the Mughals with distinction. They were therefore permitted to enjoy considerably autonomy in their Watan Jagirs. In the 18th century, these rulers now tried to extend their control over neighboring regions. These influential Rajput families claimed the Subedar of the rich provinces of Gujarat and Malwa. Raja Ajit Singh of Jodhpur held the governorship of Gujarat and Savai Raja Jai Singh of Amber were governor of Malwa. They also tried to extend their territories by seizing portions of Mughal territories adjacent to their Watan Jagirs. Nagaur was conquered and annexed to the house of Jodhpur while Amber seized last portion of Bundi. Savai Raja Jai Singh founded his new capital at Jaipur and was given the Subedari of Agra in 1722. In a Persian account of 1732, it is mentioned that Raja Jai Singh was at the height of his power. He was the governor of Agra for 12 years and of Malwa for 5 years. He possessed a large army, artillery and great wealth. His sway extended from Delhi to the banks of the Nile. Seizing independence. The Sikhs. You have read that the Sikhs organized themselves into a political community called Khalsa in 1699 under the leadership of Guru Gobind Singh. After his death in 1708, the Khalsa rose in revolt against the Mughal authority. Under Banda Bahadur's leadership, declared their sovereignty rule by striking coins in the name of Guru Nanak and Guru Gobind Singh and established their own administration between the Satluj and the Jamuna. Banda Bahadur was captured in 1715 and executed in 1716. Guru Gobind Singh had inspired the Khalsa with the belief that their destiny was to rule, Raj Karega Khalsa. Their well-knit organization enabled them to put a successful resistance to the Mughal governors first and then to Ahmad Shah Abdali, who had seized the rich provinces of Punjab and the Sarkar of Sirhind from the Mughals. The Khalsa declared their sovereign rule by striking their coin again in 1765. This coin bore the same inscription as the one issued by the Khalsa in the time of Banda Bahadur. The Sikh territories in the late 18th century extended from the Indus to the Jamuna, but they were divided under different rulers, as the Sikhs had organized themselves into a number of bands called Jattas and later on Missals under a number of able leaders. They were divided into 12 Missals. The leaders of Missals divided the territories among themselves. Towards the end of the 18th century, the leader of Misl, Maharaja Ranjit Singh, recounted these groups and established a powerful Sikh kingdom with this capital of Lahore in 1799. The Marathas. Shivaji, 1627 to 1680, carved out a stable Maratha kingdom with the power of powerful warrior families, Deshmukhs. In 1674, Shivaji proclaimed himself ruler of the Marathas and took the title of Chhatrapati. He united the Marathas politically and laid the foundation of the Maratha state. The Maratha made Mughal expansion in the Deccan very difficult. Shivaji died in 1680. After his death, effective power in the Maratha state was wielded by a family of Chhatapavan Brahmins who served Shivaji's successor as Peshwa or principal ministers. Pune became the capital of Maratha kingdom. Under the Peshwas, the Marathas developed a very successful military organization. Between 1720 and 1761, the Maratha Empire expanded. Malwa and Gujarat were seized from the Mughal by the 1720s. By the 1730s, the Maratha king was recognized as the overlord of the entire Deccan Peninsula. He possessed the right to levy Chohat and Sardeshmukhi in the entire region. After riding Delhi in 1737, the frontiers of Maratha domination expanded rapidly into Rajasthan and Punjab in the north and Bengal and Orissa in the east and into Karnataka and the Tamil and Telugu region in the south. These were not formally included in the Maratha Empire but were made to pay tribute as a way of accepting Maratha sovereignty. However, these military campaigns of the Marathas made other rulers hostile towards them. As a result, they were not inclined to support the Marathas during the Third Battle of Panipat in 1761. The Jats. Like the other states, the Jat consolidated their power during the late 17th and 18th centuries. Under their leader, Churaman, they acquired control over territories situated to the west of Delhi, and by the 1680s they had begun dominating the region between the two immortal cities of Delhi and Agra. Under Surajmal, the kingdom of Bharatpur emerged as a strong state. Lesson at a glance. The Mughal Empire had started showing signs of decline after the death of Aurangzeb because Aurangzeb has depleted the army and financial resources of the empire by fighting a long war in the Deccan, and his successors could not keep a check on the power of the nobles. In the midst of the economic and political crisis, the ruler of Iran, Nadir Shah, plundered the city of Delhi. The Mughal Empire gradually fragmented into a number of independent regional states such as the Awadh, Bengal, Hyderabad, Watan Jagirs of Rajputs and states ruled by Sikhs, Marathas and Jats. Burham-ul Mulk Sadat Khan was appointed Subadar of Awadh in 1722. Awadh became more or less independent under Sadat Khan. Bengal gradually broke away from the Mughal control under Murshid Quli Khan. Under the rule of Alivardi Khan, the banking house of Jagat Seth became very prosperous and the connection between the state and the bankers were clearly noticeable. Hyderabad became almost independent under Nizam-ul-Mulk Asaf Jah 1724 to 1748. He was made the governor of the Deccan provinces. Raja Ajit Singh of Jodhpur and Savai Raja Jai Singh of Amber tried to extend their territories by seizing portions of Mughal territories adjacent to their Watan Jagirs. The Sikhs under Banda Bahadur leadership declared their sovereign rule and established their own administration between the Satluj and the Jamuna. The Sikh territories in the late 18th century extended from the Indus to the Jamuna, but they were divided into Sikh 12 groups called Missals. Maharaja Ranjit Singh reunited these groups and established a powerful Sikh kingdom with his capital at Lahore in 1799. Shivaji carved out a stable Maratha kingdom. After his death in 1680, the Maratha power passed on to Peshwas. Between 1720 and 1761, the Marathas' empire expanded. Under Surajmal, the Jat kingdom of Bharatpur emerged as a strong state.